going on YouTube? Happy Saturday yet again. It's another beautiful day out here in Missouri. It's also Easter weekend, so happy Easter for those of you who celebrate it, and for those of you who do not, just ignore that. Putting something brand new on the truck. And also what we're doing right now is I've got everything in the garage kind of gathered up, moved around, ready to go. We're going to be closing on our brand new house on Monday. I know I've talked to you guys about it a couple times in the video, but like I said before, we will be getting a new home. We're going to be moving in a week from today. So next Saturday, plan on seeing a little bit of a moving vlog as we've got the moving truck over. We've got everybody over helping out. We're going to get everything switched over to our brand new house, and we're really excited for it. Anyway, today I've got a set of brand new BILSTEIN 5100 series shocks that we're going to be installing on this truck. If you've kept an eye on my Instagram page, you've probably seen these a couple days ago. I got them earlier this week. I ended up paying like $130 a pair on Amazon. I am very much looking forward to the ride quality on these guys, because the ones that I've got on the truck right now, which are just rough country shocks that came with the 6-inch lift, I'm pretty sure are getting close to getting worn out. They're not making any noise yet. You guys have heard one of my biggest complaints about my truck is the fact that the lift quality, just, it's not there, guys. I know that, rough country has a lot of positives and a lot of negatives, as probably with every other lift company out there. But I have heard way too many people that have, especially this body style truck, have the 6-inch rough country lift or even the 4-inch lift, and complain about the fact that it rides extremely rough when you use all of the factory components. One of the biggest things about it is it's not a true 6-inch lift, so you're not getting a full 6 inches of ride height out of it compared to the 6.5 full throttle lift or even the super lift, which you're going to get a little bit more height out of. These stock shocks, or not stock but factory rough country shocks that came with the lift, if you guys have been following for very long, you know that I put the lift on, I think back in I want to say 2015 or 2016, I don't know, but I'll find that and post it up here. But these shocks have been on there for a while. They're just those endpoint or 2.0 whatever shocks. They're actually not even anything that's upgraded. It's not even the new shock. So the new shocks may be a lot better. I've heard some stories about the new ones being a little bit better, but in my opinion, I don't like them. Never have. The truck's always ridden really rough, and I believe it has a lot to do with the shock. The best thing about the BILSTEINs is they do not have to be mounted upside down like this. You could actually mount the shocks right side up. We've got the shaft on the bottom side and the body of the shock on the top side, which is how a shock is supposed to go, in my opinion. I think it would work a lot better. So yeah, let's open up that box and let's take a look at this thing. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is a beautiful shock. Like, this is all, I don't know, stainless, and like this is a heavy shock. I'm very much impressed. You probably could polish this out if you really wanted to. It's got a little bit of texture built into it, but I mean, it looks like a really heavy duty shock. Comes with the shock boots, which is nice. Some nice polished up little mounts there. Really like this. So compared to the shock that's in there right now, this thing's gonna look so much better. And it was kind of a little bit of a deliberation in my own head about which shock I was going to go with. I heard a lot of people tell me to go with the BILSTEIN 5100 because of the amazing ride quality. Everybody that has a lifted OBS truck says that their truck rides like a cloud. Best shock that they've ever put on it. And I was going back and forth between doing this shock or maybe trying to find some Fox shocks, or even the Skyjacker Black Series shock looked pretty good. But I just ended up going with these just because of all of the comments that I got from people who actually have them on their truck of this same style and telling me how good the ride is, whether it's a rough country lift or a BDS lift or whatever. But I am very excited and very pumped to get these things put on. I can tell you that much right now. As far as my opinion goes, when I'm driving down the road, the front end feels everything. Like, I cannot go over a bump or a crack in the road, or God forbid a pothole, without completely feeling like the truck's just going to be falling apart up front. So what we'll be doing is we'll be taking the truck on a drive. I'm going to show you guys how it rides before on these rough country shocks, and then afterwards, when we go on the test drive, after we get the BILSTEIN shocks put on, we'll see how much difference the quality is. And I'm almost 100% sure it's going to be 150% better. And so I'm looking forward. Okay, so now the road that I live on right now is actually pretty bumpy as far as, you know, regular roads go. So we're gonna feel this. Getting out of the driveway is not too terrible, but just wait until once we get going down these two roads that I'm gonna take you down. I mean, you can just feel everything in the front end. And there that is. That's the worst one. So now we've got that out of the way, we will see how it feels when we get the new BILSTEINs put on. Another thing that I noticed, and I don't know if this has to do with the shocks or more with the tires, I guess, but like this mirror is extremely shaky when driving down the road. It used to not be that way, so I don't know exactly what could cause it to change. But my passenger side mirror is always completely fine, but the glass in this one's completely shaky. And you know, when I'm driving down the road, I could just feel like, it feels like if you're watching the truck drive down the road, the front is just bouncing. It's just, you know, getting some pretty hard hits. And you know, I'm really hoping these shocks will kind of cure that. Yeah, I'm not 100% dead set on the fact that they will. But bumps like that and the ones that I showed you before, I think are going to be a lot more absorbed than what they are now. Because right now it just feels like they're either not extending anymore. Maybe they're at max extension. I don't know. I don't think so. Or they're just worn out or what. But definitely excited to see the quality difference, as I keep saying. So yeah, let's get that taken care of, guys. Okay, so got the truck jacked up, got one of these tires off, and just first while it's off, I would like to say that this Federal is wearing extremely well. Like, there's not even, I mean, it might have a little bit of odd wear on one side of it, but it's pretty straight, and the tread is looking really good on it. So I can definitely say I'm pretty impressed with these Federal tires. Okay. We've got the old shock, you can tell. I mean, don't mind, it's pretty dirty. I don't really ever take the tires off to clean anything up under here. So yeah, we've got all this. We gotta get the shock off, get the new one put on, and see how that looks. All right, so here's the old rough country. As you can see, the bushings and everything are kind of worn out. I mean, and compressing it, you can compress it fairly easy compared to that BILSTEIN shock. BILSTEIN shock is in on the driver's side right now, and it looks so good. Like, this is, I mean, these are good looking shocks. Stainless steel like that, I mean, that's a really nice looking shock. I am super pumped to see how this thing performs. It was a little more difficult to get in place of that shock because the bushings are just a little bit wider. But that's, I mean, I ground it down just a little bit to where it fits tight, but not super tight to where you can't get it in and out. But it should work out like that. All right, new shocks are installed. You got both sides done. Tire rotation is done. I can already tell that these things feel so much better. Like, it's a completely big difference between these and those old rough country shocks. I'll pop up a picture that compares both the rough country shocks and the BILSTEINs. Like, those shocks, those rough country ones, they're a lot more worn out than I thought they were. Like, they're making some noises when I compress them. Everything was a little strange about them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go just back down all of the same roads that I took to get to where I was going, and see if we could feel a difference. So that's so much better. It's just gonna make daily driving this truck so much more enjoyable when you're not bouncing all over the place and you've got a nice ride, a good cushion. You know, like I said, people were saying that they felt like you're riding on clouds, so we're just about ready to see if that's the case. This is one of the more rough intersections. For some reason around here, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but in Springfield, they do not know how to handle intersections, and that felt so much better in the front. And like I was saying, Springfield does not know how to do intersections without making them really bumpy. Like, for whatever reason, there's always like a dip or some kind of a bump or a hill in an intersection. See, that was still kind of bad, but yeah, like Springfield doesn't know how to make an intersection just go smooth and go through. Like you could tell right here that there is a giant dip right there. So we're gonna go over a bump and we're gonna go down that dip and finally get to that road. And I never can understand why they can't make it just a solid one flat piece that just smoothly transitions into the other portion of the road. So yeah, that's just something that drives me nuts about Springfield roads. And the front end took that a lot better. I'm pretty impressed, actually. I couldn't take a lot of video during install, but you know, it was kind of a pain to take to get the new ones in. I took the rough country shocks out, and you could see, as far as like the bushings go, that the bushings on the BILSTEINs were a lot wider than the bushings on the rough country shocks. So I actually took a grinder and just ground down the bushings on either side, the metal, a little bit to where they slid in, and they still had a nice tight fit, but I could actually get them into the mounts, because they were not, there's no way that they were going into those mounts unless I beat the hell out of them. And being new shocks, you know, and $160 pair of shocks, you don't want to beat them up, especially when they look as nice as they do. I was happy that you can mount these shocks right side up instead of having to do upside down mounting, because in my opinion that just messes with the shocks, the geometry and the configuration of the shocks, even though they say it doesn't. But they're supposed to be mounted right side up. That's just how shocks are supposed to work. And you know, some people might say, you know, otherwise, but I just think that they work better when they're mounted right side up. Right, and here is what the shock looks like mounted up under the truck. BILSTEIN shocks have always had this nice, you know, quality, heavy-duty look to them. I've always liked the way that that stainless steel looks, being kind of raw and exposed like that. And it goes really good with the purple. So, yeah, I'm really liking it. And like I said, the ride quality, I think, is a lot better on the front. I will have to get the back shocks in order to do a full 100% comparison, but just feeling the rough country on the back and these BILSTEINs in the front, I know that there's a huge ride quality difference. So I'm very much looking forward to getting those rear shocks. That pretty much wraps up this video. So I just wanted to do a little something for these new shocks and everything. Yeah, I didn't get to do an install video, but that's okay, because there's a ton of install videos out here on YouTube for shocks for these trucks. So if you have an issue, feel free to ask me some questions. But basically, I just wanted to see if these shocks would be worth the upgrade, because as you know, if you've looked for shocks before, there are so many different options out there. BDS, Zone, Pro Comp, all of them have shocks. And everybody has a different, different taste in what they want, different budget in what they want to spend. And I will say these BILSTEINs are quite expensive. They're not as expensive at all what they could be. Like if you got some Kings, or if you even got Fox shocks, you're going to be paying probably twice as much. But I think they're going to be very well worth it as far as the ride quality on this truck, and especially it being a daily driver. So I would definitely 100% recommend you guys get these shocks if you are looking for some for your K1500 or even any other trucks out there. I will link these down below in the description from the Amazon seller that I bought them from, so you guys can purchase them if you want them. I'll do both the front and the rears. Anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you would like to watch more of my videos. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down depending on whether you like or dislike the video. I've always got that one guy that's giving me a thumbs down, and if I can make the videos better, if you want to message me or comment, please let me know what I could do to make your thumbs down a thumbs up, and I will try my best to do that. So yeah, that's about it, guys. If you would like to watch some other videos, click the bubble over here. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you later. One thing that I wanted to add to the end of the video that I forgot to specify is that these shocks are designed for a 4 to 6 inch lift. So they're not just any random BILSTEIN shock out there. This part number that's going to be in the description box is designed for the 4 to 6 inch lift on the Chevy K1500, GMC K1500 4-wheel drive truck. This will not work on your 2500. It will not work, as far as the front shocks go, it will not work on your C1500 2-wheel drive vehicle, specifically made for a 4 to 6 inch lift on the 4-wheel drive K1500. Just wanted to make sure we clarified that before, you know, people go buying these shocks and they don't fit or whatever. Just want to let you all know, if they do not work on your truck or if you don't like them, if that something doesn't fit right, not my fault in the video. I just wanted to throw that out there just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll see ya.